the Chase Thomas Podcast, for people who have nothing but time to kill.
Interesting. On the Tennessee side of things, I thought this was pretty interesting. Easy schedule will lead to a playoff appearance. This is a great Zag take, overreaction, because, I mean, more and more way too early preseason top 25 lists are coming out, and Tennessee's not on the list.
They're 25, yeah, like 20, I think I saw them at.
I mean, some of them don't have them in at all. And I'm looking at some of these and I'm like, all right, we're doing a lot. Like the Auburn stuff will drive me nuts, or there's just certain things that drive me nuts where I'm like, okay, you can call your shot. I understand. Like, it's a take game, but it's also like, all right, like Tennessee, Josh Heupel has won 19 games below average quarterback play for the most part for the last 2 years. He's lost one home game in the last 3. It's just, you have to, I mean, winning 30 games in 3 years is just really hard to do in this conference. The schedule is still great. What I appreciate about this overreaction take is that the over-under, people act, after the Nico departure, people have acted like the FanDuel odds for Tennessee has gone from 9.5, which was tied for the best in the SEC, to like 6.5 with everybody else. And that's not what's happened. They have a better over-under than South Carolina. They have a higher over-under than Florida. They have a higher over-under than Oklahoma. They have a higher over-under than these teams.
What are those? What is Tennessee sitting at right
8.5.
now? 8.5, and all those others.
So they lost one game.
7.5?
It went from 9.5 to 8.5 after Nico.
Were all those other ones you named 7.5? Like Auburn,
I have to
Florida,
go back and look
Oklahoma,
individually.
those type of teams?
I'd have to pull up
Okay.
what they all are right now.
It's interesting though. I agreed with this take in terms of the just the plain the sentence, the easy playoff schedule will lead to the playoff appearance, but I like adamantly disagreed with the explanation. Like he says, I hate the term system quarterbacks, but Josh Heupel's offense provides the structure for a signal caller. It's like Josh Heupel's been there 4 years, and I would say Tennessee's had below average quarterback play for half of that time, at least the last 2 years. So it's kind of interesting to be like, Tennessee's offense is just going to do what Tennessee's offense does. And it's like, well, last year, Tennessee's offense is what held them back. The defense is what was winning a lot of those games. So it's kind of weird. Like, I'm with you. Like, I was never high. Oh, no, well, not like you in this sense. I was never high on Nico, but losing Nico, I feel like, yeah, maybe that's not night and day because Nico wasn't a superstar, but I feel like there was a chance Nico was going to become a superstar. He wasn't that yet, but I feel like that chance is what made Tennessee this dark horse championship team. I think their chances of being a playoff team are significantly worse without Nico, even though I wasn't that high on Nico, if that makes sense.
I get that. I just look at it in terms of like, to what you said, I think Nico raised your ceiling. Like, theoretical Nico could be someone who wins multiple playoff games for you this year. It's year 3 in the system. Like, yes, he has the kind of talent and the tools where you could have seen certain things come together, and Nico making that leap and joining one of the SEC's best and raising the ceiling of what Tennessee could be. But to Brandon's point that I agree with and that I think a lot of people nationally are missing is that it just doesn't matter. And it's not because of the system quarterback like you. He's missing what's going to happen. It's like he'll be like saying Joey Aguilar will be just fine. And he'll have some wondering if the Vols won the de facto trade with the Bruins. Okay.
That's bold.
Yeah, that's bold, but it's also like, no, the system part of it is not like, the system is not what won Tennessee 10 games last year. Heupel had to throw out a lot of what he did his first few years at Tennessee and what he's done before he got to Tennessee. They were running 12 personnel more than they ever have at Tennessee last year. They were having to go 2 tight end sets because their tackles couldn't block. So they were having to do, like, their receivers weren't great, so they weren't running the downfield stuff. They weren't able to connect on big plays. They were having to be a ground and pound team in the second half. They were just handing the ball off to Dylan Sampson over and over again to just grind out wins. Like, and he relied on his defense. Like, Heupel played to his defense, and Heupel understood that defense was going to be the bread and butter for that team last year. Like, it's not. So I think what folks are missing is that, like, I agree that it doesn't come down to Joey Aguilar. Like, I think he might end up being the guy all season long. I still have my doubts with how late in the process he's coming into this and just his high interception rate. But the system part of it is that if Aguilar is a wild card and just throwing picks and just acted all like just crazy in the pocket and just turning over the ball like a madman, Heupel can still keep those guys in. Like Milton would have thrown a lot more interceptions in 23 if Heupel didn't change the offense, where it was like, no, we're not doing that stuff over the middle of the field anymore. Heupel will adapt to what Joey Aguilar gives him. He will adapt to how Joey Aguilar plays in his system, where he's like, all right, well, we're not doing that anymore because I'm not throwing picks. I'm not having a turnover problem with my scheme. We are going to rely on our defense that still should be one of the top 10 to 15 best in the country again. Tennessee's always going to be able to run the ball. They've averaged 5 yards a carry all 4 years under Heupel. They're going to run the ball again this year. So I just think they have a high floor. And I think that's what a lot of people have missed is that like they have a high floor. And I mean, I just pulled up the FanDuel odds, like the amount of teams that are still ahead of...
The schedule is a big deal though.
Right.
Like I think if we were talking about this team playing Florida's schedule, I think we'd be talking about maybe them going to a bowl game or not. Like I think
I mean, it's probably more 7-5, I would say, if it's Florida's schedule. The reason that you can talk yourself into 9-3 with this Tennessee team is because of the schedule.
For sure.
But I also do have so much optimism still in this defense. I think this defense is going to be pretty nasty, and it's just loaded with blue chippers, and they're deep, and they're going to rotate, and they are going to knock the crap out of a lot of people. I think Peyton Lewis and Deshaun Bishop and Star Thomas and DeJuan Morris are going to be a really, really good running back room, and we're going to have a good rotation there. I think the tight ends with Kitzelman and Ethan Davis will be really good. I think the offensive line should be solid. Like, there's a lot you still like about this group. And I just think Tennessee has a really high floor. Like, I still just don't think the bottom's falling out. And if Aguilar is a mess in the first month, like, he'll go to Jake or he'll go to George. And I think it's going to be a real competition this summer. We don't even know who the quarterback's going to be for Tennessee against Syracuse on August 30th. So, I don't know. I appreciated the optimism take here where it was like, I've seen too much, where it's just driven me nuts, where I'm like, people have really lost their minds in terms of what Tennessee's going to ultimately be. Yeah, the ceiling got changed without Nico, but the floor did not. The floor is still very high with this team, and I think people have lost their minds nationally with where Tennessee's at.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think if Florida or Oklahoma are good, I think that changes things. I think a 10-2 Tennessee is like a lock for the playoff. But I think if there's a scenario where if Oklahoma and Florida are like 6-7 win teams, and Syracuse isn't good or something, that Tennessee doesn't beat anybody good all season. And who knows, maybe you get penalized for that by the end of the year. Like Miami was a 10-2 team. They weren't in the SEC, but they were a 10-2 team that, didn't have a good schedule and missed out on the playoff a year ago. And they had the Heisman Trophy winners. They kind of had some like feelings, some bias kind of in their favor, and they still got left out.
I mean, for Tennessee to finish 10-2,
he wasn't the Heisman Trophy winner. Sorry, he was the runner-up.
If he was to, if Tennessee was to go 10-2, that would still require Tennessee winning a game that Heupel has not won yet at Tennessee.
On the road?
No, he not in at home. Like, he hasn't beaten Georgia at all, and he has to beat Georgia. He has to get to 10-2 this year. Tennessee would have to either beat Georgia for the first time ever, win at Tuscaloosa under Heupel for the first time ever, or win in Gainesville under Heupel for the first time ever. Like that, he would have to do one of those three things, and then also be perfect the rest of the way. So that's why even before the year, I'm like, you can't expect the CFP season for Tennessee until they do and those are three difficult things. Like, it's not, I mean, he's gone 2-2 against Florida and Alabama, and Tennessee has struggled, obviously, in recent years against Bama and Florida. But it's like, you have to, if you're going to be a playoff team this year, like, and go back to back, like you would have had, even with Nico, it was going to be hard to win one of those games for the first time in the Heupel era.
Yeah, and looking at their schedule, like, you can say this doesn't matter, but I think it does in terms of just people's subconscious, like how the schedule is. You have Georgia week 3, but you get all the way to week 6 without playing any of your real difficult games. So if you just start 5-1 and the one loss is to Georgia, like that team's probably ranked like 8th. You know what I mean? Like they're going to be up there for the stretch run, and like maybe that bias is seen a single digit next to their name for a few weeks, but obviously you have at Alabama, Oklahoma, and then Florida super late in the year. I don't know. Florida, I was really like they took Georgia, Auburn out of November. I got over that. I kind of liked Georgia, Tennessee being that new November game. Now they got rid of that. Grinds my gears, sir.
That's fair. But to put a bow on it, Texas A&M 7.5, South Carolina 7.5, Oklahoma 6.5, Missouri 7.5, and Florida 6.5, and Auburn 7.5.
I think I should head to the casino on that Oklahoma 6.5. Man, they're going
over or under.
That. They're going over that.
Are you that confident in Oklahoma?
No,
have you seen that schedule?
No,
what has Brent Venables shown you?
That team's winning 7 games.
How are you that certain about Oklahoma in 25?
That defense is pretty solid, and it's Brent Venables, John Mateer. Who knows, man? I think there's not a lot of proven quarterbacks in the SEC right now. He's one of the.
He's not proven either.
No, he's not. But he's one of the most proven. He at least has the starter experience of put up huge numbers last year.
I mean, yeah,
Washington State wasn't exactly playing a Pac-12 schedule anymore, but
nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas podcast. Hell yeah.